What do you mean, Peter?
You were married for 10 years?
Listen, we raised children. You know.
Tom Cruise finally broke his silence about the one who got away. At 62, the Hollywood star admitted she was his true love all along. Not Nicole Kidman, not Katie Holmes, not Penelope Cruz. Their romance was kept secret for years. While fans watched his public relationships crumble, she stood by him through Scientology drama and career ups and downs. When asked why he never spoke up before, Tom simply said, "I wasn't ready for the world to know." You'll never guess who captured his heart forever. Tom Cruise was born on July 3, 1962, in Syracuse, New York. His real name was Thomas Cruise Mapotha IV. His childhood was rough. His father was abusive. His family was poor, had 3 sisters, and moved constantly. By the time he turned 18, he had already attended 15 different schools. It was a new school almost every year. Moving meant new faces, new rules, no real friends. It made him adaptable. It made him hungry. His family moved to Ottawa in 1971. Tom had his first real experience with acting at just 10 years old, performing in a small school play. It wasn't much, but something clicked. His life wasn't stable. His mom left his dad, moved back to the United States, and his mom followed. He kept drifting from one school to another. Eating was a battle. People thought he was lazy, but he wasn't. He just needed a different path. That path, for most, became the church. At 14, he went to a Catholic seminary in Cincinnati. He wanted to become a priest. It didn't last. He left after a year. Some say it was because of a family move. Others say he was caught stealing liquor. His priesthood dream ended. Something else began after he was cut from his high school football team for drinking beer before a game. He auditioned for a school play, End as a Man. The play changed everything. He felt alive on stage. The audience loved him. It wasn't just acting, it was becoming. In 1980, right after high school, Cruise made a bold decision. He moved to New York City with just $500 in his pocket. He worked as a busboy and porter while chasing auditions. He shortened his name from Thomas Cruise Mapotha IV to Tom Cruise. He trained at the neighborhood playhouse. He gave everything he had. His first big break came in 1981, a tiny role in the film Endless Love. Just a few lines, but it led to Taps, where he was only supposed to be a background character. His performance impressed the director so much that the role grew bigger. Cruise made it count. People started noticing. Then came The Outsiders in 1983. He played Steve Randall. It wasn't the lead, but it put him alongside future stars. He belonged in that group. But it was risky business that changed the game. In 1983, Cruise played Joel Goodson in a coming-of-age film about a high school senior who turns his house into a brothel. It was crazy, bold, funny. It made $63.5 million on a $6.2 million budget. People didn't just like the movie, they remembered it. One scene, Cruise in his underwear dancing to old-time rock and roll, became iconic. He got a Golden Globe nomination. He was no longer just promising, he was a star. But Cruise wasn't like other young actors. He refused stand-ins, even in Taps. He did dangerous stunts himself. On The Outsiders, he stayed in character off-camera. Directors noticed. He prepared like no one else. He memorized scripts with color codes. He used audiobooks. He moved while learning lines. It helped him overcome his dyslexia. His struggle became his strength. In 1984, Hollywood came calling with Footloose. They offered him $2 million. But Cruise turned it down. Instead, he chose a risky fantasy film called Legend. It flopped. People said he ruined his career, but Cruise didn't panic. In 1986, Tom Cruise went from rising star to Hollywood king with Top Gun. The movie made $176 million that year, more than any other film, and turned him into a global icon. Just behind it was Crocodile Dundee, which almost beat Top Gun by just $2 million. But Cruise pulled ahead. His role as fighter pilot Maverick wasn't just cool, it was electric. He became the face of American confidence, sunglasses and all. And the film did more than break records, it boosted Navy recruitment. Young people didn't just want to watch Cruise, they wanted to be him. That same year, he made another bold move. He teamed up with Martin Scorsese for The Color of Money. It wasn't a blockbuster, it was smart. It cost $14.5 million to make and earned $52.3 million. Cruise played a pool hustler beside Paul Newman, who won an Oscar for his role. Cruise didn't win, but he won something else, respect. After Top Gun, people saw him as a star. After The Color of Money, they started seeing him as a real actor too. It showed he could do more than run fast and flash a smile. He could hold his own next to legends. Years later, in 1988, Cruise did something most stars wouldn't. He took a step back in Rain Man. He let Dustin Hoffman shine. But Cruise didn't fade. He matched Hoffman's energy with raw emotion. One scene, he throws underwear out of a car, shouting, "Kmart sucks." That wasn't in the script, it just happened. In another, they were in a phone booth when Hoffman passed gas. Cruise's shocked face stayed in the film. His most powerful moment came when his character read his father's will. You could see the pain, the disbelief, the betrayal, all in one breath. Hoffman won the Oscar, but Cruise was the backbone. Without him, the movie wouldn't hit as hard. Then came 1989, and everything changed. Born on the 4th of July was different. It wasn't fast jets or smart suits. It was a wheelchair, a war, and a broken man. Cruise played Ron Kovic, a real Marine turned anti-war activist. The role was brutal. He trained in a wheelchair for months, building his upper body until it felt real. He didn't just play the part, he lived it. The scenes in the hospital were raw. He screamed, cried, broke down. It was messy, human, unforgettable. The film made $162 million and earned Cruise his first Oscar nomination. He also won a Golden Globe. People stopped calling him just a movie star. They started calling him one of the best. Tom Cruise used to be a devoted Roman Catholic. But everything changed in 1986 when he met actress Mimi Rogers. They got married on May 9, 1987. Mimi wasn't just an actress, she had deep roots in Scientology. Her father had been part of it since the 1950s. For her, Scientology wasn't something new, it was her way of life. She was even an auditor in the church, which meant she held a serious position. Their marriage only lasted until February 4, 1990. But what stayed with Cruise was the religion. Even after they divorced, his connection to Scientology didn't fade. In fact, when the tabloid star revealed his involvement in 1990, it made headlines. Cruise didn't confirm it publicly until 1992 during a Barbara Walters interview, but by then, he was already deep into it. One of the biggest reasons Cruise embraced Scientology was because of his dyslexia. He had struggled with it since he was 7 years old. He said he finished high school in 1980 functionally illiterate. Reading made him anxious. He couldn't concentrate. He felt stupid. But he found hope in something called study technology, developed by Scientology's founder, L. Ron Hubbard. Cruise said it changed his life. "Nobody gave me a solution," he explained. "But I learned to read perfectly through Hubbard's method." That breakthrough became a turning point. Years later, in 2016, while promoting Jack Reacher 2, he said, "I wouldn't be where I am without it. It's a beautiful religion. I'm incredibly proud." At that point, he had been a Scientologist for over 30 years. Cruise also became very close with Scientology's leader, David Miscavige. Their friendship started back in the 1980s, but it wasn't always smooth. According to David's father, Ronald Miscavige, the church once threw Cruise a huge welcome party at the Sea Org base in Florida. They even made a pool look like a luxury sailboat. L. Ron Hubbard's personal chef cooked a special meal, but Cruise showed up 4 hours late and went straight to bed. David was furious. This showed just how tense things could get between two of the most powerful figures in the church. Later, in 1999, Cruise almost walked away. He reportedly got scared when church leaders promised to reveal details about Xenu, a mysterious alien figure in Scientology lore. He backed off, but the church didn't want to lose him, so they sent Marty Rathbun, a top official, to bring him back. It worked. Cruise returned and continued his studies. By the early 2000s, Cruise wasn't just a follower, he became a fighter for Scientology. He began using his fame to try and get it officially recognized as a religion, especially in Europe. In 2005, the Paris Council revealed that Cruise had directly contacted top French politicians, including Nicolas Sarkozy. But it backfired. French officials called him a militant spokesman for Scientology and cut ties with him completely. That didn't stop him. After the 9/11 attacks, he helped set up a group called Downtown Medical. It offered detox treatment to New York City rescue workers. Many doctors criticized it, saying it wasn't backed by science. But in 2004, David Miscavige gave Cruise a special award, the Scientology Freedom Medal of Valor, for his efforts to the church. He was a hero. As his role in Scientology grew, Cruise also tried to bring others into it. Former Scientologist Paul Haggis said Cruise tried to recruit some very big names. That list included James Packer, the Beckhams, Jada and Will Smith, and even Steven Spielberg. These weren't just friendly chats, these were real efforts to pull powerful people into the church. And that's where religion and Hollywood started to blur. His beliefs were now shaping his professional life. Around 1999, while filming Eyes Wide Shut, Cruise stepped back from Scientology again. Church leaders had promised him details about Xenu, but things got complicated. Still, he returned, as always. Tom Cruise met Nicole Kidman in early 1990 while filming Days of Thunder. He was 28, she was 23. Their connection was instant. Less than a year after finalizing his divorce from Mimi Rogers, Tom married Nicole on Christmas Eve in Telluride, Colorado. It was fast, intense, and full of hope. Nicole would later say, "I was so young when I got married. I look back now and I'm like, what?" But in that moment, they were all in. Nicole wanted kids right away. She said, "From the minute Tom and I were married, I wanted to have babies." But something tragic happened early in their marriage. Nicole had an ectopic pregnancy. It was painful, both physically and emotionally. The baby couldn't survive. They were devastated. That loss pushed them toward adoption. In 1992, they adopted their daughter, Isabella. In 1995, their son, Connor, joined the family. The kids traveled with them across movie sets. For a while, it looked like the perfect Hollywood family. They also worked together on screen. In 1992, they played Irish immigrants in Far and Away, a big-budget historical drama. The film cost $60 million to make and earned $137.8 million worldwide. 7 years later, they teamed up again for something much darker, Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. It was supposed to take 6 months to shoot. It took 2 years. They filmed in England, away from everything. Kubrick kept them isolated and often asked them personal questions, using parts of their real marriage in the story. Nicole said they used to go-kart racing at 3 a.m. to blow off steam. She even said she would have stayed a third year if Kubrick had asked, but he died 4 months before the film came out. It was his final movie and one of the strangest films either of them ever made. Behind all the glamour, their personal life wasn't easy. That early pregnancy loss stayed with them. Nicole later said, "We lost a baby early on, so that was really very traumatic." She was open about their struggles, but the adoption of Bella and Connor helped them heal. It wasn't the family they imagined, but it became the family they built. Then, in February 2001, everything collapsed. Tom Cruise filed for divorce. Nicole didn't see it coming. Some reports say she was 3 months pregnant at the time, but sadly, she miscarried. The divorce was finalized in just 6 months. The kids stayed with Tom in Los Angeles. Nicole returned to Australia. The family was split. After the divorce, things changed quickly. By 2012, sources said that Isabella and Connor were closer to Katie Holmes, Tom's new wife, than they were to Nicole. But Isabella once said, "I love Mom. She's my mom. She's great. I see her sometimes, and I speak to her." Still, the bond had clearly faded. It wasn't the life Nicole imagined when she first married Tom. During all this, Nicole was filming The Hours. Her heart was broken, but her performance was unforgettable. She won the Oscar. While the world applauded, she was quietly grieving. Years later, she spoke about how much the divorce changed her. She said, "Maybe I've become more fearful, but I always try to be as open as possible." In 1992, Tom Cruise stood toe-to-toe with Jack Nicholson and didn't flinch. A Few Good Men wasn't just another courtroom drama, it became a turning point in Cruise's career. His fast-talking, cocky Navy lawyer lit up the screen, especially in the final showdown when he demanded the truth and Nicholson exploded. That one scene alone made movie history. The film pulled in over $243 million worldwide. But more importantly, it told Hollywood that Cruise wasn't just a pretty face anymore. He could go deep, go serious, and still bring people to the theaters. Then, in 1994, he did something even riskier. He played a vampire. Not just any vampire, Lestat, a seductive, dangerous immortal in Interview with the Vampire. And Rice, the author of the book, hated the casting. She said Cruise was all wrong. But Cruise didn't care. He buried himself in the role. And when the film hit, even Rice admitted she was wrong. She bought a full-page ad to apologize. That's how good he was. The film became a hit, and Cruise proved again that he could take risks most stars were too afraid to touch. By 1996, he wasn't just acting, he was running the show. Mission Impossible wasn't just a movie, it was his movie. He produced it, starred in it, and helped turn it into a box office juggernaut. $80 million budget, $457 million return. He even did the crazy wire hanging scene himself. People weren't just watching Cruise anymore, they were watching what Cruise would do next. That same year, he turned around and gave audiences Jerry Maguire. No guns, no stunts, just heart. "Show me the money" wasn't just a line, it became part of pop culture. The film made $273 million and earned Cruise his second Oscar nomination. He was no longer chasing stardom, he was the star. And just when people thought they had him figured out, he flipped the script again. In 1999, Cruise showed up in Magnolia as Frank T.J. Mackey, a loud, broken, emotionally wrecked man hiding behind macho speeches. He didn't ask the audience to like him, he dared them to watch him. With just 20 minutes of screen time, he stole the movie. He earned another Oscar nomination and won a Golden Globe. Critics who once doubted him were now praising his guts. Around this time, his personal life took center stage. In 2000, on the set of Vanilla Sky, Cruise met Penelope Cruz. Their chemistry was instant, but they kept things quiet until Cruise's divorce from Nicole Kidman was final. By 2001, he and Cruise were everywhere: red carpets, vacation photos, glowing interviews. Behind the scenes, Cruise seemed smitten. He cooked for her, planned surprises, and even thought about proposing. But something wasn't right. Cruise couldn't connect with his kids. Cruise kept talking about Kidman. The relationship started to crack. In 2004, they split. The public heard it was because of conflicting film schedules, but insiders said it had more to do with Scientology. After that breakup, something strange happened. According to reports from former Scientologists, the church made it their mission to find Cruise a new girlfriend, not in the usual way. This was organized. Women inside the church were audited without knowing they were being interviewed as possible partners for Tom. It wasn't about love, it was about image, loyalty, and control. Cruise was the face of Scientology, and the church would do anything to keep him happy. They even customized his cars and turned a hangar into a private retreat, all to keep their golden boy content. Then came one of the darkest stories, Nazanin Boniadi. She was young, smart, and loyal to the church. That wasn't enough. She had to change her hair, her style, her entire life. She had to learn what Tom liked. When she made a small mistake, struggling to understand the fast-talking church leader, Cruise lost it. He screamed, pounded the table. Just 2 weeks later, she was dumped. No conversation, just an order. Afterward, she left the church and rebuilt her life as an actress. Neither she nor Cruise ever admitted what happened, but too many people close to them did. And then came Katie Holmes. April 2005, Cruise appeared in Rome with Holmes just 33 days after she ended her previous engagement. The press went wild. She was 26. He was 42. People started calling them Tomcat. Holmes had once said she dreamed of marrying Cruise. Now, here they were, hand in hand, glowing for cameras. But insiders whispered about control, about Scientology chaperones following her, about how fast everything moved. Holmes didn't seem like the girl from Dawson's Creek anymore. She looked swallowed up. Then came the couch. May 23, 2005, Oprah's stage. Cruise was supposed to promote War of the Worlds, but the second she asked about Holmes, he went off the rails. He jumped. He shouted. He dropped to one knee and shook Oprah's couch. The crowd clapped awkwardly. Viewers at home weren't sure if it was real or a breakdown. The clip went viral before going viral was even a thing. Studios panicked. Paramount reportedly lost up to $50 million. Women, especially the ones who had swooned over Cruise for years, suddenly backed away. In just a few minutes, the golden boy of Hollywood became a punchline. Tom Cruise was on top of the world. But in June 2012, everything changed in a flash. Katie Holmes filed for divorce without warning, catching him completely off guard. They had been married for nearly 6 years, but Holmes had a reason. She wanted to protect their daughter, Sui, from Scientology. Cruise confirmed this himself during a lawsuit deposition a year later. Her legal team had planned everything in secret. Within just 2 weeks, the divorce was finalized. Katie not only left Tom, she also left the church. Reports said she was afraid Cruise wanted to fully pull Sui into Scientology, and she wasn't going to let that happen. That wasn't the only blow. Years earlier, in 2006, Cruise suffered a major hit to his career. Paramount Pictures, his longtime studio partner, ended their 14-year relationship. It was brutal and public. Viacom's chairman said Cruise's recent behavior had hurt his image and his films. Mission: Impossible 3 made $390 million, which sounded good until you remembered War of the Worlds had made $591 million just a year before. Cruise had just been ranked Hollywood's top-earning actor by Forbes, with $67 million in 1 year. But none of that mattered. His reputation was too risky, and they cut him loose. Cruise needed to rebuild, and fast. So, in 2008, he did something completely unexpected. He became Les Grossman, loud, bald, full-mouthed. It was a role nobody saw coming. Cruise had created the ridiculous studio boss character himself for Tropic Thunder. Covered in prosthetics and fake chest hair, he danced, screamed, and swore his way back into Hollywood's good graces. Viewers were shocked when they realized it was actually him. The gamble worked. People were laughing with him again instead of at him. Then came Mission: Impossible, Ghost Protocol. In 2011, Cruise shifted the franchise away from drama and toward jaw-dropping action. He climbed the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, with nothing but a wire. That stunt, done at 2,722 feet in 79 miles per hour winds, changed everything. People stopped talking about his personal life and started talking about his fearlessness. The movie earned nearly $700 million. He followed up with Rogue Nation in 2015, bringing in another $682 million. His comeback was real. But Cruise didn't stop there. In Rogue Nation, he clung to the side of an actual plane during takeoff, at 52 years old. No green screen, no stunt double, just Cruise flying at 160 miles per hour. Insurance companies didn't even want to cover it. The studio had to make a special $50 million policy just for those scenes. His legend was growing, not as a celebrity, but as the last real action star in an era of CGI. Even injuries didn't slow him down. In 2017, while filming Mission Impossible: Fallout, he broke his ankle leaping between buildings in London. The cameras kept rolling. He finished the shot. The injury shut down production for 2 months and added $80 million to the budget, but Cruise recovered faster than expected and returned before doctors thought possible. In 2023, filming Dead Reckoning, he got hurt again, torn shoulder, cracked ribs, broken ankle. Still, he finished the movie. Fans loved the realism. Critics praised the action. He refused to fake anything. While most stars ran to streaming deals during the pandemic, Cruise held firm. He said Top Gun: Maverick had to be seen in theaters. And when it finally released in 2022, it exploded, $1.5 billion at the global box office. The biggest hit of the year, bigger than Jurassic World, bigger than anyone expected. Cruise made about $100 million from that movie alone. It wasn't just a sequel, it was a career high. After 36 years, Top Gun was back, and so was Cruise. He got a standing ovation at Cannes and an honorary Palme d'Or. Critics even said it was better than the original. But behind the scenes, there was something he wasn't talking about: his daughter, Sui. After the divorce, Cruise reportedly stopped seeing her. The last known contact was in 2013. She was only 7. When Sui turned 18 in 2024, she dropped his last name. She now goes by Sui Noel, Holmes's middle name. She's heading to Carnegie Mellon University. Former Scientologists say the church's disconnection policy might be to blame. Katie left the church, which could have labeled her a suppressive person, and Sui, by association, a potential trouble source. That means Cruise may have cut ties because of his faith. He still sees his adopted kids from his marriage to Nicole Kidman, Connor and Isabella, because they stayed in the church. But Sui? She's gone from his life. Now, rumors are swirling again. In 2025, Cruise, now 62, was spotted multiple times with Ana de Armas. It started with a quiet Valentine's dinner in London. Then, she showed up with her dogs at a heliport, using Cruise's private chopper. Days later, they left David Beckham's birthday party together at 3 a.m., trying to hide from cameras. People magazine says they're just friends, but the photos tell another story. Both are single. Both are stars. And the buzz won't stop.